October 7, 2004. Jennifer, friends, and family of Mark. As promised, here are copies of the correspondence I received from Mark over the course of the last month. For the most part, I have merely copied and pasted them from my email application. As you'll read, he requested this, in hopes that you'll better understand why he did what he did. I made this site because it's the most efficient way to share Mark's emails with all of you. I'm not advertising this to anyone. But I do think it would be wise to pass this URL along to anyone who may help with the investigation. As I collect more information, from various sources, I'll update this site to keep it an accurate record. I'll have that link at the end of the series as well. If you need to speak with me, Jen has my number. Thank you for your patience, and again, I am profoundly sorry. Eric. September 6, 2004. From Condry, Mark. Date, Monday, September 6, 2004, 8:17 a.m. Subject, an old friend. Eric. Hey man. It's Mark from Houston. The Saturday Night Gang. Feels like a long time ago, doesn't it? I found your email from your website, looks like you're out in LA now, cool. I remember telling you, you should be out there, doing the California thing. You still with Connie? I'm in Dallas now. I met someone who works in my building, we've been seeing each other for 2 years now. Listen, the reason I'm writing to you out of the blue is because I got this newspaper article in the mail. Maybe you got one too. It's about Andrew. You remember Drew? Travis would pick him up most of the time. Messy hair. Sort of the fanboy type. I didn't remember his last name until I got this thing, and now it's really disturbing me. Do you know what happened? Did you hear about it already? Let me know if you have some time to talk. I can call you or you can call me if that works better. I'm going to see if I can track down Travis and Dave. A quick search didn't seem to turn up any leads, but maybe they just don't have websites. If you still talk to either of them, let me know. Thanks. Mark. September 8, 2004. From Condry, Mark. Date, Wednesday, September 8, 2004, 7:44 a.m. Subject, an old friend. Eric. Thanks for quick reply. I didn't mean to sound cryptic in my first email, I'm just reluctant, I guess. I hadn't really seen or thought about Andrew since he stopped showing up for game night, and that was 5 years ago. That was about the time we all went our own ways, back in 1999. You moved out west, I moved up to Dallas, etc. So when I got this article in my mailbox, it caught me by surprise. And yeah, I'll transcribe the thing for you. I wasn't sure if maybe you were the one who sent it to me. I'll put it into this email, at the bottom. I remember him. He was never the kid with the idea, he was the kid who agreed with yours. Slowest to get the joke, usually. Laughed the longest. That's Andrew in a nutshell, yeah, at least that's how I remember him. He got on my nerves sometimes, but damn if he didn't love being part of the gang. He'd ask me for some poker chips on card night, or borrow dice from my bag, that sort of thing. Whenever we played Tecmo Bowl on your Nintendo, he always wanted to be on my team. Which would have been fine if he was any good. I haven't heard from Travis or Dave in years. They fell off the radar about the same time you did. None of us made much attempt to stay in touch. It was just one of those things. That's okay. I wasn't trying to point fingers. It happens. But I was hoping you had already heard about Andrew, like you'd gotten a copy of the article. I still haven't been able to get a number or email for Travis or Dave. Maybe they know more about this than we do. Andrew usually hitched a ride with Travis most of the time. It was on the way home for Travis. Didn't Andrew live with his mom? Like in an apartment? And his stepdad was a real estate broker, had that one house way out past Highway 6. You remember that? Andrew was scared to death of that house. Here's the article. There's a photo of Andrew with it, looks maybe like his driver's license photo. Still had messy hair. Gunman shoots 2, kills self in Boise restaurant. Diners at the roadside breakfast cafe on Interstate 84 fled to the parking lot in a panic yesterday afternoon when a man entered and began shooting patrons inside, killing 2. The couple, John and Lucy Madsen, were having lunch when 26-year-old Andrew Hughes entered, wielding a Smith & Wesson .59 pistol, according to police. Witnesses claim the perpetrator was muttering to himself as he approached the smoking section and opened fire into the first occupied booth, fatally wounding the Madsens. Soon after, he turned the weapon on himself. All 3 were taken by paramedics to St. Alphonsus Regional Medical Center, where John Madsen and the shooter were pronounced dead. Lucy Madsen, 37, remained in critical condition for several hours but did not survive the night. Police are investigating Hughes' work and personal background, but as of this morning a motive for the attack is unknown. If there's more to the article, I didn't get it. That's where it was torn off. The other side is part of a Dillard's ad. This is really bothering me, Eric. What the hell was Drew doing in Boise? With a fucking gun? He hung out with us for almost 2 years. I just don't get it. And something else is eating at me. I can't figure it out yet. Mark. September 9, 2004. From Condry, Mark. Date, Thursday, September 9, 2004, 2 p.m. Subject, Andrew. Hey. I know how you feel. It's hard not to think of the times he sat next to us at the table, smiling like a fool, rolling dice, and moving his pieces around the board. He loved Monopoly night. Always wagged his tongue when he counted money. I don't think he realized he did that. It's impossible to think of him shooting up a diner. There's no return address on the envelope. No, but the postmark is Idaho. Not CA or TX. Not sure if you've already considered this, but it's possible. The whole thing is a fake. Some sick practical joke made to mess with your head. You can get newsprint paper for. Yeah, I've considered it. I didn't tell you this earlier, but I called up St. Alphonsus and asked if they'd had a patient named Andrew Hughes admitted in the last month. They had no record of him. I asked if it would show if he'd been pronounced Dionaea, and I got transferred to ER, where they keep paramedic records and info on all DOAs. They have him listed. He showed up on August 28, died of a gunshot wound to the head. Pronounced dead by ER resident at 3:14 p.m. I asked for some contact info, like a phone or address where he might have been living. I got brushed off, told to call the police for that stuff. The hospital wouldn't give out any personal info, at least not without some signatures. I haven't called the police yet. That's probably the next step. Glad to hear that you and Connie are going strong. Sorry to sort of dump all of this on you, I just didn't know who else would care to listen. I'll write if anything else comes of this. At this point I'm thinking maybe Drew's mom sent it to me. Maybe Drew kept track of me when I moved to Dallas and had my address. I'm listed in the book. That would explain the logistics part. I'm overthinking things. Take care. Mark. September 10, 2004. From Condry, Mark. Date, Friday, September 10, 2004, 3:11 a.m. Subject, thoughts and concerns. Hey again. I know it's late, or early, depending on how you look at it, but this Andrew thing won't go away. I finally realized what's eating at me and I need to spit it out. Do you remember what went on just before Andrew stopped showing up for game nights at your place? I do. He was gone for 2 weeks because he had to house sit for his stepfather. Mom and stepdad went on a big vacation every summer, for like 10 days, and Andrew was just expected to stay behind. He usually just stayed at his mom's apartment, but that year he was asked to mind that house his stepdad owned, the one out in that old rich subdivision west of Houston. Maybe the guy had a bunch of houses. He was big on real estate, wasn't he? The guy had inherited this dog from one of his clients, somebody who moved out and didn't want to take the dog with them. I want to say it was an Australian Shepherd. Do you remember any of this? Andrew talked about it the weekend before. Dog had behavioral problems, whined, barked, scratched at the door, pissed on the carpet. Didn't want to be inside, always wanted to be outside. Dad kept it in a kennel except when it rained. Andrew was supposed to take care of the dog, plus a few other things like mow the lawn, that sort of crap. But Andrew didn't want to go. Dave got into that argument with him about how it was the perfect setup for a young bachelor, house all to yourself, party time, risky business, and Andrew kept saying it was too cold there for a party. Too cold? I distinctly remember that. And how he kept asking us to drive out and stay with him while he was house sitting. I don't think anyone went out there, did they? I never did. We didn't see him for 2 Saturdays in a row, then Travis picked him up like usual, since he was back at his mom's place. That's the one night with Andrew I remember the most. I bet it's the same with you. It was the most bizarre, frustrating night I had with the group. Andrew walked in quoting some commercial verbatim. I want to say it was a Tide ad. Travis told us he was like that in the car all the way over. Commercials, shows, movies, radio songs. The first couple of hours gaming was like being in the room with the TV on. Then he started parroting us. He'd just copy something we said. You remember? Tell me you remember this. I can see it in my head, so clearly. Oh, and what was his response to anyone's complaints? Okay. Drew, stop quoting Law and Order episodes. Please give the Pontiac commercial a rest. Dude, shut the fuck up and roll your dice. Okay. And then he'd launch into something else a few minutes later. It wasn't just that he would regurgitate that crap, it was that he could take it so far. Whole reams of dialogue that he'd somehow memorized from one throwaway TV episode. Lyrics to entire songs. It went from odd, to funny, to disturbing in the first hour. Look, I'll come out and say it. Whatever happened in those 10 days, it changed him. He wasn't the same person after that. We all know this. We never talked about it, at least not with me around, but fuck if we didn't know instantly that the person who came back from that house was not Andrew. I wrote before that I hadn't thought about Andrew since '99. That was a lie. You know the way your brain sometimes reminds you of things you hate to dig up? The ones that sour your stomach? I've thought about him a few times, about that night. Was that the start of his madness? Or whatever it is that drove him to shoot up a diner? Were we there to see him first lose his grip? Jesus, Eric, why the hell didn't we say anything? From Condry, Mark. Date, Friday, September 10th, 2004, 11:38 a.m. Subject, the door is open. Eric. I woke up to the phone ringing this morning. Turned out to be the reporter from the Idaho Statesman. She finally called me back. Did I tell you I called to track down the source for the article? She didn't have any new developments on the story, but will continue to follow up with the police. I asked if she had any other details about the crime, stuff that didn't find its way into the article, and we sorta went over her notes. Most of it I already knew, but there was one piece of info that caught my attention. She wrote in the article that Andrew was mumbling or muttering to himself when he entered the restaurant, but she didn't put in what he was saying. According to witnesses, he kept repeating, "The door is open." Does that make any sense to you? The door is open? Write me back. Mark. September 12, 2004. From Condry, Mark. Date, Sunday, September 12, 2004, 5:10 p.m. Subject, a plan. Eric. Haven't heard from you. Just writing to let you know I've had a day to put some distance from the whole thing, and I've made a decision. I'm going to drive down to Houston and see if I can find someone in Andrew's family. I once rode with Travis to pick Drew up. I think I know where his mom used to live. From there maybe I can find stepdad, and the house. I've tried the Boise lead already. I called the cops and got more questions than answers, and now some Lieutenant Perez plans to call me back in case he needs more testimony from me. Like I know anything. Apparently Andrew was living alone in a rental up there, working at a Blockbuster Video. That's about all I got from the cops. And Idaho. So I'm aiming for Houston. Even driving my own car, and a cheapo motel, it's still going to cost me about $200 for the trip. Jenny is worried about me, she'd rather I stay and pretend the police will figure this out on their own. But I have to go down there, Eric. Here's why. I think Andrew was afraid of that house for a reason. Whatever that reason was, during those 10 nights, something emptied him. Gutted Andrew like a fish. It yanked out whatever he was inside, or shocked him into forgetting it all away. He was hollowed out. To fill the void, he absorbed any input he could find. Television, radio, conversation. Soaked it up and presented it as Andrew. He could walk and talk, and he wasn't injured, not physically. But he wasn't the same, either. There's a gap I need to fill, in my head, like the time in that house. I have these pieces of Andrew that don't match. I need something to match. Hell, I'll feel better if something will just make sense. I won't ask you to fly down and join me, but I could use your help all the same. I have some questions you might be able to answer. Please call me or send me a note if you know any of these. My phone is removed, Eric. What was the stepfather's name? First or last? What was his mom's name? Was her last name also Hughes? What was the name of the subdivision where stepdad's house was? I think Andrew mentioned it. I hope I haven't freaked you out too much with my crazy talk. I know it probably comes off sounding absurd, some of it. Or maybe not. You were there for some of this. If you really think I'm off my noggin, tell me. By all means, tell me. Hope to hear from you soon. Mark. September 13, 2004. From Condry, Mark. Date, Monday, September 13, 2004, 8:22 a.m. Subject, a plan. Eric. Thanks again for calling. I got your email as well, and it mentions a few things we didn't discuss over the phone, so I want to add a comment or two. What I remember was what Travis told us, that time he went to pick up Drew and had to go up to his room to get him. This was the last time Drew gamed with us. Travis went upstairs to his room and the kid was pacing back and forth by his bed. Everything was all neat and tucked in. But the carpet was worn in a line where Drew was pacing. Like it's all he did. Yes. I remember this too. And the way Travis told the story, like he wanted it to sound funny but he didn't believe it was. And Dave laughed. He said, "Man, that dude's a broken record," and we all agreed. Nodding and chuckling. Fuck, we all just let it go at that. Like it was easier to write him off. But Travis was the last one to laugh. He'd seen that room with his own eyes. Go, I really would, but Connie got sick last night, and she's still throwing up this morning, and I don't feel right leaving town with her like this. Understandable. You stay there. I'll continue to email you on this thing. I can't really talk about Drew with Jenny. She never knew him. She doesn't get why this is so disturbing, outside of the horror that took place in Boise. That's why I keep writing you. Nobody else gets it? Hey, maybe I'll somehow find Travis or Dave while I'm in town. M. September 14, 2004. From Condry, Mark. Date, Tuesday, September 14, 2004, 6:51 p.m. Subject, I made it. E. Made it to Houston. The drive was hell. Traffic and a persistent rattle in the trunk wore me down. The A/C unit in my motel room sounds like a submerged Cessna engine. It'll be hard for me to sleep with it on, and impossible with it off. Well, at least the whole internet access bit works, and I'm able to check my email. Tomorrow is a long day. I'll be prowling Braeswood and your old neighborhood to zero in on an apartment complex I went to once. Joy. Wish me luck. Mark. September 15, 2004. From Condry, Mark. Date, Wednesday, September 15, 2004, 9:06 p.m. Subject, lots of stuff. Eric. Great news. I have a solid lead. The whole day felt like I was pulling a string from the sand, but it's pointed me in the right direction. These emails are becoming more of a journal for me, to help me log my progress. I hope you don't mind. It took me an hour of driving back and forth around the Gessner and Braeswood area before I zeroed in on the right side street. The landmarks had changed. I was 90% sure I'd found the right apartment complex, but I was still grasping air. With no name for Drew's mom, and no guarantee her last was Hughes, I went to the manager's office. And I just got lucky. Her name is Nancy Hughes, and she stopped paying the rent in September of 1999. Drew paid it for the rest of the lease term, which ended the following February. According to the note in the resident file, he paid in cash. Seems mom moved out, or just up and left one day. Poof. Andrew was living alone in the apartment then? How was he paying for rent with just a minimum wage job? I showed the manager the article about Andrew, and then I lied. I said I was a private investigator. I don't know why. Maybe to justify why I was having her dig up rental information from 5 years ago. Anyway, she got off on it, and kept rooting around in the Hughes file for me, like a movie sidekick. She found something. A third-party check, covered rent for December of '98. Kurt Malone. I'm thinking this is stepdad. The manager photocopied the check for me, and 10 minutes later I was calling the phone number printed with Kit's address in the upper left-hand corner. No luck there. Disconnected. So I took another approach and called 411 for a local realtor service. You can do a search for contact information for a specific realtor. I remember hearing about this from a co-worker who'd sold his place in Greatwood. Malone was listed under a Little Re/Max affiliate office in Katy. I got that number and called there, left message. Evelyn, the owner, called me back and said Malone hadn't worked there in forever. He up and vanished, left her with all kinds of issues. She thinks he had financial problems and bailed for Mexico. I find it hard to swallow a theory told to me in stage whisper, but maybe that's just her personality. Still, that's 2 people gone. Before, I thought maybe mom just moved in with stepdad. Now, I don't know that the hell to think. The call went on for half an hour as I got to hear the HR nightmare Evelyn went through thanks to Kit's disappearance. Halting his benefits, freezing the 401k plan, surrendering documents to the police, etc. I finally broke in and asked about the house. The one out in West Houston he owned. She got very quiet after that. It took me another 10 minutes to answer her questions about who I was. This time I was honest and upfront with her. I guess it paid off, because she believed me, or at least believed in my intentions, and she checked her records. I have an address, Eric. Kurt had his own home in Sugar Land, but get this, he was renting a house from a client. Way out west, near Pecan Grove Plantation. The paperwork was curious, since he was supposed to be selling this place, but the previous owners had signed off on it, in multiple places, like it was no real conflict of interest. She didn't know what happened to the house after it was seized by the bank. I guess I'll find out tomorrow when I drive out there. I'm close, man. I'm real close. September 16, 2004. Note, Mark was able to send text messages from his phone, but I frequently received them late, sometimes hours after he sent them, as is the case with the September 21st messages. From, removed at messaging.sprintpeaks.com. Date, Thursday, September 16, 2004, 3:33 p.m. Subject, no subject. Where are you? Call me. From, Condry, Mark. Date, Thursday, September 16, 2004, 8:25 p.m. Subject, the house. Holy fuck. I tried calling you 5 times today but I got your machine. I really need to talk. Call me soon as you can. Where do I start? The house is still there. It's this generic one-story thing, bricks and siding. It must have been built at the same time as the other homes in the neighborhood, but it just looks older. The roof is scarred in places. The driveway hasn't held up like the others have. Cracks in the pavement. A plank is missing from the side gate. I rang the doorbell and figured I'd just talk to the new owners. No one answered. I couldn't really hear if it worked or not. Blinds and curtains in the windows kept me from peering inside. There was a dusty pickup truck with a warped front fender parked in the driveway. A neighbor across the street saw me checking it out. He talked to me for a while, as he watered his shrubs. He hasn't met the person who lives in the house now, or if anyone is living there really. He remembered Kurt, but not by name, just as the guy who stayed there for a few months. The previous owners, Kurt's clients, didn't live there that much longer. They had all sorts of problems with the house. Electrical, heating, that sort of thing. They moved out, left most of their furniture behind, he said. Packed into a big RV one day and just drove off. He still remembered their names. John and Lucy Madsen. September 18, 2004. From, Condry, Mark. Date, Saturday, September 18, 2004, 7:59 a.m. Subject, update. Hey Eric. We're playing phone tag. When you called, I was already on the plane, and when I called back I guess you were at the hospital again. Really sorry to hear about Connie. Any idea what it is yet? Food poisoning? Something else? What are the doctors saying? I'm in Boise now, yeah. I nabbed a ticket on short notice, got on standby. I left my car at the George Bush Airport in Houston. Jen freaked out when I told her, then she got very terse, said I should do what will make me happy, and hung up. What will make me happy? Christ. I don't know a soul in Idaho. I haven't slept in 2 days. I'm charging everything to my Visa, and I have no idea how I'm going to pay it off. My watch stopped working yesterday. I've got this weird ringing in my right ear, it comes and goes, annoying as hell. I'll tell you what will make me happy, closing my eyes and not seeing Andrew staring back at me. What are you gonna do once you get there? Do you plan on telling the police the Madsen connection? Do you think the Madsens left something in that house that drove Drew nuts, and he killed them for it years later? Seriously. This is fucked up. Yeah. I don't know what to think. Right now it's just a connection. They lived in the same house. The Madsens were there for 4.5 months, and Drew was there for 10 days. I have no idea what it means. I'll email you when I figure something out. Feel like I should pass this along to some people, like to get you some help out there. Or bring in the feds or something. I don't know if anyone else has managed to make the connection you did, and it's an important one to the case. Can I forward your emails and contact info to someone? I've been thinking about that, because I was going to ask you to do that for me at first. But now I don't think I'll get the kind of help I need. Let's face it, there are enough unexplainable pieces to this thing. I'm going to get two kinds of interest, nuts and skeptics. I wouldn't mind so much the skeptic, except I get this vision in my head of some guy calling Jenny, calling my parents, calling my boss at work, looking to paint the picture of a guy who's lost his mind after hearing that his dead friend went nuts. I really haven't been totally honest with Jenny or my supervisor at the office, because this is not something you can easily explain. I've been calling in sick to work. I told Jen I had to go to Boise to attend a pseudo-wake. I don't want that to bite me in the ass while I'm looking into Andrew's past. Here's what you can do for me, though. You can hold onto this stuff as evidence or whatever. If something crazy happens and I'm in trouble, use this to explain the situation for me. Forward emails to my friends or family. Maybe if they read them, they'll understand what I'm going through. I know you didn't mean to inherit this job. I'm sorry to make you do it, but I really appreciate the help. Mark, in Potato Land. September 20th, 2004. From Condry, Mark. Date, Monday, September 20th, 2004, 10:13 a.m. Subject, new lead. Update. I called the hospital, the one where Andrew was taken back in August, and asked some pointed questions about where Andrew's body went. Who picked it up? Did a relative or friend show up? The answer was no. But he was tagged with John and Lucy, and I kept demanding some sort of lead, so the intern gave me the names of the relatives who were called in to confirm the IDs of the Madsens and to arrange for funeral home delivery. John's cousin lives out here. I'm about to head out and meet Greg Archer, the cousin, and his wife. I'll write again from the hotel. M. From Condry, Mark. Date, Monday, September 20th, 2004, 10:40 p.m. Subject, the Archers. Back. That was strange. I met the Archers. I know what you said last time I called, how I need to stop lying because it'll make it harder on me later, but I wasn't about to tell them I'm a good friend of the guy who killed Greg's cousin. I said I knew the Madsens when they were in Houston. I had some burning questions about what happened to them, as, I claimed, they practically dropped off the map when they left town. I hadn't heard from them since. Greg did most of the talking. His wife Helen was pleasant, in that stiff smile way, but she found ways to interrupt my chat with Greg and remind him of other things he needed to get done. The more she did it, the more I encouraged Greg to keep chatting. The Madsens, as he tells it, had a long future planned in Houston. John got a transfer to Schlumberger Oil and looked forward to settling down. Then things started to go wrong after they moved in. Just little things that piled up. Their car kept getting flat tires. Lucy broke her ring finger while futzing with the dishwasher. Trouble getting mail. Their phone got disconnected when they didn't pay the bill for 2 months, a bill they never got. That sort of thing. Finally something happened, Greg doesn't know what. It was enough to get them to put the house on the market. That same week, John sold all his company stock, gutted his 401k, quit his job, and put everything into a big RV. He and Lucy drove off in their new motorhome and never looked back. They'd been driving around the country the last 5 years, nomadic. Lucy got pregnant in 2002 but miscarried. They still kept on the road. Greg thinks they would have just kept driving through Idaho if the RV hadn't broken down with an A/C problem. Greg says John called him up out of the blue and asked if he and Lucy could stay over. Greg made the guest room upstairs, and he and Helen welcomed them in their house for a week. This was right before the shooting. Here's where it gets stranger. Greg took me up to the guest room and pointed to some spots on the carpet, right in front of the closet door. Furniture footprints, like something had stood there. Greg says it was the dresser, the one against the opposite wall. They barricaded the closet door for the duration of their stay. It was the strangest thing. He also noticed they kept the bedroom light on around the clock, and bundled up with the spare set of woolen blankets for the bed. Greg never found the right way to ask a number of questions. I think he felt a little better talking to me about it. I'm not his cousin, but I'm someone who listened to him and agreed it was bizarre. I left Greg and Helen's not feeling any better. I feel worse now. I ache the way you're sore right before you get really sick. I'm trying to put things together, I really am. I have to go to the police now, don't I? I'll go first thing in the morning. I promise, Eric. September 21st, 2004. From Condry, Mark. Date, Tuesday, September 21st, 2004, 2:21 a.m. Subject, no subject. Hey. I just saw this thing on Discovery Channel, probably a rerun, I bet you can catch it sometime. All about natural predators and stuff. Wild things. Yeah, I'm up watching TV since I can't sleep. Anyway, they had this thing on the Venus flytrap talking about how it lures the curious insect to its lip and then these invisible hairs or something sense when one of the suckers lands on it and wham! It swallows the bug. Just like that. Later on it spits out the skeleton of the fly and waits for the next victim. Some types of flytrap plants emit this odor to entice more food, says the voice on the TV. The fancy name for them is Dionaea muscipula. So I wonder if that's all this is, this whole thing with the shooting and the anonymous article and Houston and the footprints on the carpet, it's all to get me into the Venus flytrap, only the scent isn't sweet sap, it's guilt. Guilt over all those times I was around Drew and didn't do anything, you know what I mean? And I'm flying all over the fucking country and my head is buzzing and I think I'm getting close to the truth, but really I'm tickling some invisible hair and the ground is about to fold up on me and swallow me down into that place where Nancy Hughes and Ken Malone went. I'm gonna go take some sleeping pills. I hope Connie is going better, man. I miss Jen. She has a way of making me feel like I'm home just by being around her. I'm tired of motels. I'm sorry, Eric, I'm so sorry. M. From Condry, Mark. Date, Tuesday, September 21st, 2004, 12:15 p.m. Subject, where Andrew stayed. Eric. Bingo. I went to the police and asked to talk to Lieutenant Perez. Instead I got Detective Sokoloff. He said he was working the Hughes case now. I'm more inclined to think he was just running interference for Perez in case I was a wacko. Anyway, I told him about the Madsen connection with Andrew, to see if that would help. He said they'd look into it. Then he started with the questions about me, and I looked for a way to cut the chat short. Police stations make me uncomfortable. The rest of the talk was rather banal, but at the end of it, almost offhandedly, he asked if I wanted to sign for Andrew's personal effects, since they had copies of all the important stuff. I said sure, even though it made me feel like they've already written off this case. Drew's been busy the last 4 years. He has driver's licenses for Kansas, Colorado, Arizona, California, and Idaho. Looks like he's stayed at friends' homes, because none of the addresses printed on the licenses have apartment numbers. His Idaho license is just 2 months old. And it has the address of the rental home where he stayed. I'm going to drop by this afternoon and see what happened to his things there. Maybe there's a clue to how he knew where to find the Madsens. Or why he shot them. Perez, or somebody, has done this already, I'm certain, but I'm not sure he looked very far. Wish me luck. Mark. From removed at messaging.sprintpeaks.com. Date, Tuesday, September 21st, 2004, 4:14 p.m. Subject: no subject. Standing in front of house now. It's the same one. The Houston house. Same marks on roof. Same fence damage. Just talked to old man across street. He says house has been here for years. Rented out as far back as he can remember. I rang the doorbell. No answer. It's exactly the same. Eric, I don't understand. Ears ringing again, I don't know what to do. How is it the same? There's a way into the house. Here. Where are you? Pick up the phone. I am going inside. Inside the house. Nobody is here. Air is cold. Metal smell. I found stairs. Going up. Didn't see second story from street. Did you call? Signal cuts off. 3 bars then no bars. I am looking for more of Drew's stuff here. Layout is really bizarre, lots of rooms. Door at end of hall. Made of metal. Checking other rooms instead. Call. Found something, Drew's backpack. Getting out of here now. I think someone's here. I just heard something. The door is open. September 27th, 2004. From Condry, Mark. Date, Monday, September 27th, 2004, 1:18 p.m. Subject, for Thursday. Hello Eric. This is Jennifer. I'm on Mark's PC now. I did like you suggested and I've looked through his outbox and I don't see any emails about this to anyone else. There aren't that many really. He didn't tell me a lot of this stuff, Eric. Like now I'm reading the last thing he sent you back on the 13th. I didn't know he was so emotional. Why didn't he tell me about this? But anyway, like you said, he wrote to you from his laptop when he was in Houston and Boise. And the police up there said they found that in his hotel room, and they're taking their own sweet time checking it out for clues. So yeah, I will keep asking for that to be sent down. Where else should I look? I don't know what else to do here except wait until you come down and look at it. He does have AIM, but I can't tell where the chat logs would be saved or anything if he's done that. Please tell me what else I can do. You know more about what he was up to than anyone else, cause of this old friend the two of you had who went crazy, and now Mark is missing for almost a week. Please send me the other emails he sent you, please. I want to know now. Jen. October 1st, 2004. From Postmaster. Date, Friday, October 1st, 2004, 1:30 p.m. Subject, undeliverable mail. Unknown user, X. RCPT to generated following response. 550 unknown user original message follows. From x@x.x. Date, Friday, October 1st, 2004, 12:47 p.m. Subject, no subject. Human arm and leg bones found on street. Scottsdale residents got a shock at the start of their morning commute when they found what seems to be human bones lying in the road on Sage Drive. Crime scene technicians arrived within half an hour and began to sweep the scene for more evidence that might help identify this human victim, or at least establish an approximate time of death. Police spokesman Danielle Swift said bone evidence alone isn't usually enough to determine identity or even cause of death. These remains didn't just appear in the road. They were moved here, Swift said. Therefore we're asking any witnesses to contact the police with information that might pertain to what happened. No other evidence was found along Sage Street or in yards of neighboring homes. More on this story as it develops. Whoever you are, whatever you are. Fuck you. I may not know you, but I can tell what this is. And I'm not fooled. Your Venus flytrap game won't work. I'll make damn sure to warn Jenny and others, too. So. Nice try, but no one is falling for your bait this time. It stops here. Updates. It has become painfully obvious that, although I want this to end for all of us to have closure regarding Mark's disappearance, the trail he left has raised too many unanswered questions. Since the time I first published this site for Jen and those close to Mark, new information continues to arrive from a variety of sources. In my last posted email, I refused to take the bait. I said it would stop here. But it doesn't stop there. Not by any stretch. This page will chronicle my findings and other resources as I discover them. Some may have no connection to how or why Mark vanished. Only time will tell. A final note, for those of you like Sandra and Nathan Condry, the truth is I don't yet know what to believe with this whole thing. But I know what I don't want to believe. October 14, 2004. Jen called. She spoke with Boise police again yesterday, and they have finally agreed to ship down the laptop. Once she gets it and looks at it herself, she'll send it my way. If I find anything new, I'll add it here. October 17, 2004. Among the spam today I received this email, from someone who seems to have stumbled upon the site. From Mr. Paranoia. Subject, the house. Very interesting. If it's real, I have some information for you. I don't know Mark, but that won't matter once I send you this link. Based on what I've researched, those who have figured out what this flytrap house is, risk becoming its next victim. Not everyone is eaten by it/them, maybe. Some may just not be psychologically susceptible to it, the way some aren't able to be hypnotized. But if you walk away knowing too much about it, the house will get to you. Sooner or later, witness the Madsens. Maybe you don't want to know anything else. Well, regardless of how I feel about it, this site isn't for me. So in case you read it here first, send me what you have and I'll decide if I want to share it. Mr. Paranoia. Also, don't expect me to publish your messages to me ever again. I am not a PR firm. October 22, 2004. After trading emails several times with Mr. Paranoia, he finally sent the link mentioned in the 10/17's email. Jen, I've read it already, and I want you to treat it as a hoax, unless you get something in the mail from a grocery store in Arizona. Call me when you've read it and we'll talk. It's a live journal site, which means to read it chronologically you need to scroll to the bottom of the page and work your way up. The journal author is, allegedly, a 16-year-old named Danielle Stevens. Here is the link.
Live journal transcription.
Monday, October 11th, 2004. 10:21 p.m., new job. Hi everybody. Especially Jonathan, hugs and kisses, equals __. Here we go, it's Donnie's first LJ. Hehe. Well, it took me long enough, I just needed a reason for one. My life is pretty boring for the most part, so trying to keep a diary going felt like too much work. But whenever I get a job, like over the summer, I always have these great stories to tell. Like when I worked as lifeguard for the Highland YMCA outdoor pool. Or at the public library last year. You wouldn't think you'd meet so many weirdo people or end up on crazy adventures, like raccoon hunting with the drain net, hehe, but it happens all the time to me. Well, this time I will be sure to write them down here, because I have a new job. That's right. It's all part of Donnie's genius plan to pay for Christmas. I want to get my friends and family nice things this year, so I took a babysitting job at a house 3 blocks away. Babysitting, yeah. Doesn't sound like a steady job, but this one is different. The Ellisons are both full-time working parents, programmers at some tech company downtown. When big deadlines get close, both of them have to work hella bad OT hours, and they need someone to watch their daughter Linny from 5-10 on Thursday. That seriously cuts into my downtime after school. Sad face, but it's worth it. I keep telling myself that. I went over tonight and met Lenny and Mr. and Mrs. Ellison. They look like total geeks. Their living room has a big screen TV and also a table with 2 PCs and a bunch of other gear like DVD burners. The place is cold, they must run the AC a lot to keep their hardware from overheating. It's like that in the school computer room all the time. Lenny is 8. She's quiet and shy, but she has the cutest crooked teeth smile. Smiley face, she likes Nintendo and Barbie. I think we'll get along fine. My first day is tomorrow. It's so weird to have someone's house key on my key ring. I guess my references were good for them though. Wish me luck. Hugs and kisses, Danny. Current mood, bouncy. Tuesday, October 12th, 2004. 10:55 p.m, first night. Whew, I'm back. Equals __ equals. First night babysitting was pretty easy. I got there a little before 5 and met Kathy. She's the one who takes Lenny home from school. She has a boy who goes there too. She knew Mr. and Mrs. Ellison when they lived in Chicago and helped them find a place here. She was in a hurry I guess, but she seems kinda rude. She told me to be on time so I don't have to wait for you, sad face. I was on time. I was early. Pfft. Lenny was still very quiet, but she doesn't know me, so that's okay. We played some Nintendo, and after dinner she wanted to play house. She has a dollhouse in her room, it's really cute. I grabbed a Barbie doll and started to play with her, but she told me Barbie wasn't the right size for the house. Hehe. It's true too. Barbie is just way too tall, see what long legs gets you sometimes. But Lenny doesn't have any dolls for the house. She says it doesn't need any cause it's just a house, but I think she secretly wants some. If we get along I may add that to my Danny Christmas list project. Hehe. I gotta remember to take a jacket with me next time though. It gets way cold and I didn't find the thermostat. I was gonna say something when Lenny's mom and dad came home, but when they showed up they looked so tired. I don't know how they work such crazy hours. I just got my money and told them I'd be there tomorrow. That was it. Pretty uneventful first day. So sleepy now. Off to bed. Hugs and kisses, Danny. Current mood, sleepy. Wednesday, October 13th, 2004. 10:34 p.m, bizarre. Tonight was pretty bizarre. Lenny spent most of it in her room playing quietly, which was okay for me since I had to finish my AMER history paper. I made her soup for dinner and checked on her from time to time. But when it got close to her bedtime I heard her talking to someone, so I went back to see if she was calling to me or just chatting with her dolls. She isn't supposed to be on the phone. She was moving furniture around in her little house, just talking to herself. I think she was repeating stuff she overheard somewhere. Maybe even in the house. You know how sometimes kids say stuff they don't realize could get their parents in trouble? I think Lenny was whispering, "Come on Rick, answer the phone and the door," surprised face. Is Mrs. Ellison maybe seeing Rick on the side? When I tucked Lenny in bed I asked her what she was saying before, and she just shrugged and said it was stuff she heard. When I asked where she heard them, she said around. We'll see if the plot thickens tomorrow night. Laughing face, off to bed now. Danny. Current mood, confused. Thursday, October 14th, 2004. 11:02 p.m, crooked. OMG, Lenny is a strange little girl. Last night it was weird phrases, tonight it was a rhyme or some children's song. Something about a crooked man with 6 pants, I dunno. I mean, she can be cute and smiles a lot, but already I worry she doesn't get enough attention from her parents. Well duh. Otherwise I wouldn't have this job. Tongue sticking out, she wanted to go to bed early tonight. I tucked her in and she hugged me, and kept her arms around me for so long. Sad face, she's definitely gonna get a Christmas present from me, even if I'm not her sitter by then. I told her a story to put her to sleep, about a family of bears in a big house. I was using her dollhouse as the one where the bears lived, yeah, no, just improvising. So I was looking over at it and saw she had colored a room upstairs in red. marked it all up in a magic marker. I asked her what that room was and she just said the one upstairs. Why is it red? Linny just shrugged like she didn't know. What's it for? It smells like cookies and candy. See what I mean? Strange, strange, strange. No idea what that's about. Oh, I almost forgot. On my way back to the living room I found a set of keys on the floor in the hall. Just lying there. I was like, WTF? They weren't mine and the house keys didn't work on the doors for the house. I don't know how I missed them before. I think they belong to Rick. Hehe. Anyway, they have one of those grocery keychain cards on them, so I took them. Maybe I shoulda handed them over to Mr. and Mrs. Ellison, but what if I'm right and Mom is having an affair and these are to her BF's place? I don't wanna get anyone in trouble. This weekend I'm gonna go to the store and have them scan the little key card for me to see who it is. I'll be a good Samaritan and nosy at the same time. John's little brother sacks at the one on Camelback, I think. Yeah, on what a week. Finally I get a weekend to myself though. I'll write if I find anything juicy about the keys. Hugs and kisses, Danny. Current mood, cold. Saturday, October 16th, 2004. 11:10 a.m, keys. Well, that was a letdown. Okay, so I went and had the keychain card thing scanned at the Fry's, which worked even though they were for another place, cause it's all part of a big chain of stores. The keys don't belong to anyone named Rick after all. The guy told me they're for somebody named Mark Hondry, I think it was. He lives in Texas. I didn't get them back either. It's policy to have the store mail them back. Whatever. Still makes me wonder what in the world they were doing in Mr. and Mrs. Ellison's hall. LOL, listen to me, I'm like Nancy Drew. Smiley face. Okay, off to the mall. John is waiting. Hugs and kisses, Danny. Current mood, curious. Monday, October 18th, 2004. 10:31 p.m, back on the job. What a weekend. Equals carrot underscore carrot equals. Let's see, I hung out with John, saw the Puppet movie by those South Park guys, and went lipstick shopping. B/C I read this article how lipstick is all undervalued now, like people don't wear it as often. And I love lipstick. Kissy face, dash rebel. Tonight was pretty boring. Linny was her usual quiet self and we spent most the night watching TV. We watched Aladdin twice and then it was bedtime. The house wasn't as cold this time, or maybe it wasn't that bad since I brought a jacket and kept it on. Oh, I burned dinner. Surprised face, that was frustrating, cause I know I set it for the right time. So I made us PB&J sandwiches instead. I'm such a mom. No joking about that. I gotta tell ya, this one weird part was when I was cleaning up in the kitchen after putting Linny to bed. I heard what sounded like somebody barreling downstairs. Only there are no stairs in the Ellisons' house. I think it was just the TV, or maybe the garage door just makes a sound like that, cause the Ellisons came in a few minutes later. Boy, they look tired. They coulda used a couple Danny special PB&Js themselves. I still don't know if I should mention finding the keys that belong to that Mark guy or not. Anyway, time for bed. Danny. Current mood, sleepy. Tuesday, October 19th, 2004. 10:48 p.m, why am I doing this again? Blah. I don't feel good. Sad face, I have had a headache for half the night, just pounding on the back of my eyes. I've taken like 4 Advil already and it won't go away. Babysitting was a nightmare. I had 2 papers to write, plus lit homework, plus Tuesdays are workout days for me, but I got up late and couldn't work out in the morning, so I sorta squeezed in a quick 20 minutes session after school. OMG, Linny kept singing that stupid rhyme all night, drove me nuts. I swear if I hear it one more time I'll snap. I had such a hard time with everything tonight. The house got really cold at one point. Made my ear ring. You know that high-pitched sound like they use for the test of the emergency broadcast system? Yeah, my ear was doing that. I thought it was the computers at first. Did I tell ya about the PCs in the living room? Anyway, they are always on. I went over and checked them out. The table is like a spaghetti bowl of cables leading off behind furniture or into the wall. Turns out it's not them, the ringing was in my ear. But the Ellisons had some sort of monitoring program going, all these numbers were scrolling like mad in a window. The program wasn't anything I recognized, but the file name was like tmtist_attic. I didn't want to get in trouble, so I didn't touch them. It got warm in the hall. Linny and I stayed there for a while. It also smelled good there. Like a bakery. I think the vents must be messed up in that house, seriously. I don't know how anyone could live like that all the time. Sad face, I want to quit. But I don't want to hurt Linny's feelings. Maybe I should just suck it up. Gah, there goes the ringing again. Current mood, drained. Wednesday, October 20th, 2004. 11:31 p.m, home finally. It's taken me this long to feel good enough to type. I got home over an hour ago. If last night was awful, tonight was 100 times worse. I don't know where to start. I got there at 5, waved bye to Kathy, played with Linny some. The TV was acting up, so we had dinner early. I made some raviolis with pasta sauce and it was good, but when I was taking Linny's plate I thought I felt something touch me and it made me jump, and the bowl spilled onto Linny's shoulder. She had pasta sauce in her hair. She asked for a bath, which was fine, but I had not given her a bath before. I was a little uncomfortable just because I wasn't familiar with the temp settings on the tub, and I didn't know how Linny's mom and dad would feel about it, but Linny kept pleading with me to stay with her for the bath. So I ran the water and helped her into the tub. This string came out of the faucet as the tub filled up. It made Linny nervous. I tried to tug on it and pull it all the way out, but it must have been caught on something inside the pipes. It just dangled from the faucet and floated on the water. Some of the pasta sauce had gotten in Linny's hair, so I rinsed it out a little. There wasn't any soap in the guest bath, so I went into the Ellisons' bedroom to borrow from their master bath. That's when Linny started screaming. I have never been so chilled to the bone before hearing her tonight. It was horrible, hearing her scream. I turned and ran back to her as fast as I could, and when I got back she was hanging onto the edge of the tub trying to get out, and the string was wrapped around her leg. I yanked and yanked at it again but it wouldn't budge, and Linny kept screaming, "Get it off, get it off," and so I started to try and unwind it from her leg, but the shampoo in the water or something had made it slippery and I started crying, and then suddenly the string went slack and I tore Linny away. She had a set of marks on her like stripes, where the string had cut into her skin. Later when I went back with a pair of scissors the string was gone and the water had drained away. We spent the rest of the night in the living room on the couch, piled under 2 blankets and pillows from the Ellisons' bed. Linny eventually fell asleep, but I was so worried about her and confused about what happened, I was a nervous wreck. At around 9 p.m. one of the PCs started beeping like crazy. I got up to check on it. An alert had popped up, it said. Like that. Then, the power cut out and back on again. Only, some of the lights didn't come on. Just a light from down the hall. In the hall it was easier to see, but I took a wrong turn on my way back. The tiny hall and door that leads to the garage was not where I thought it was. Instead I found a set of stairs. Like real stairs. Going up. And it smelled like cake, like right out of the oven. I felt so lost and strange, I can't explain it. Except, I didn't think the house had a second story. It's too hard to see from outside. I finally found a way into the kitchen and from there went back to Linny, who was still asleep. It got real cold after that. When the Ellisons got home I told them about the bath and the other problems, but I didn't mention the stairs. Then I told them I couldn't babysit anymore. I think I used schoolwork as an excuse. They said they understood, but I could tell they were depressed about it. I'm sorry, but I just can't keep doing it. Well, Mrs. Ellison asked me to please just make it for one more night and then they would get a new sitter over the weekend to start on Monday. She paid me in advance for tomorrow, too. I didn't want to say yes, I don't want to go back, but I felt so bad for leaving them on such short notice, and really what if it's just me being a spaz? Sad face, like I'm freaking myself out or something. Anyway, I told Mrs. Ellison yes. One more night. I can do this. I will come back and tell you about the final 5 hours sitting for Linny in that house, and come Friday I will talk about something new like my friends Dawn and Kim, or how I love Starbucks strawberry cream fraps, or whatever. Just to keep me in the habit of writing here. I think I've been pretty good about it anyway. I sort of get on and start typing automatically before I go to bed. Okay. I wish I wasn't so scared of going back. I feel so empty. Danielle. Current mood, numb. 11:41 p.m. There was a crooked man. And he walked a crooked mile. He found a crooked sixpence. Upon a crooked stile. He bought a crooked cat. Who caught a crooked mouse. And they all lived together. In a crooked little house. Red Rover, let Jenny come over.
October 26, 2004. Jen, please call me back. I know it must be driving you crazy, but do not go to Phoenix. Mark was never there, despite what the postmark says on that box. The keys are just like the article about Andrew Bate. Please don't do this. Send me the laptop and we'll figure it out together, okay? I wouldn't have to put this here if you'd answer your phone. I know you visit this page regularly. Call me. October 26, 2004, late. Lots of responses. I didn't expect this. Thank you for your support, and your technical notes. At this time I cannot involve and will not involve anyone else for a number of reasons. Please respect my decision on this matter. I will keep the contact information for the paranormal investigators, and I will continue to help those close to Mark as best I can. Please, no more phone calls. Connie is going out of her mind. Thank you. October 27, 2004. Sandra/Nathan, check your email. I finally heard back from the Sprint PCS service rep today. No more account authorization hassles. He said their records show, and have billed for, only 14 text messages from Mark's phone on 9.21, the last one time-stamped at 5:11. He's sending me a copy of the logs, but I'm not sure if they'll do us any good at this point. Awaiting the laptop now. October 28, 2004. I've been contacted by Diane M., who says she was friends with Lucy Madsen when she lived in Houston. Hello Eric. A friend linked me to this site asking if this was the same Lucy I knew when I lived in Sugar Land. After doing some reading, I'm convinced it is. I had no idea what happened to her after she and John moved. Lucy and I met through a little book club some mutual friends started up. We were both avid readers. Yes, she and John had all sorts of unexplainable problems with that house. I remember seeing some of them firsthand, like the leak. After reading about your friend Mark, I stewed a bit, then called up my father. I often talked with Lucy on AIM when she lived here, and thought maybe some of those old dialogues would be of use to you, but they would have been on my old PC which I gave to my dad, a year ago. I went over earlier tonight and dug through the program files for any sign of my AIM chats with Lucy way back when. Dad had removed a lot of stuff, he deletes things, but I did find a scrap from Feb 99. It's the one I remembered, the one that made me curious to visit. Note, I don't really think it's a supernatural thing, I'm more prone to think Lucy had a sort of nervous breakdown, and created or imagined traumatic moments in the house. The rest of it, like your friend's experience, I can't explain. But I hope you find closure soon. The attachment wouldn't open, but hopefully Diane will try again. Update, I got the chat log and converted it to HTML. I don't know if Diane is still using her screen name, or if Lucy's is taken by a new user now, so to protect both from any unwarranted IMS I've removed the numbers from the ends of their nicks. If there are users with the nicks in this log, they are not the same people. FYI. Here is the AIM chat log. Chat log begins. Session start, Lucy Goosey, Diane MNZ Wednesday, February 10th, 14:24 and 34 seconds 1999.
Diane MNZ, hey Lucy.
Lucy Goosey, hey.
You still at the office?
Yeah, so tired.
Oh BTW, I finally picked up that Adams book. Looking forward to reading it. Tired?
Still having problems with the house.
What did the electrician say?
He couldn't find anything wrong.
Oh BS.
Yeah, John is calling another tech today.
Good for him. You wanna come over tomorrow night? Grab some dinner? I'll bring Paul so the men can talk hockey.
But it's not just the short circuits. Sure, that sounds nice.
Oh Lord, is it turning into a money pit?
I don't know, I hear things now and then.
Hi.
It's just weird.
Like things in the walls? Is it Orkin time?
Not like that, voices.
Voices?
I don't believe in ghosts, D, but it's like that. That's the closest comparison.
Whoa. You're serious?
I went to the laundry room Monday night to get an extra blanket for the bed and I swear I heard someone choking in the hallway. It was like choking.
Lucy, that's horrible.
There's a weird mark on the wall there that cuts off at the ceiling.
You think, is it haunted? Do you know much about the place?
I think it's stress. I think I'm just falling apart.
I'm so sorry.
The movers, and my mom getting sick, and John's crazy hours at the new job working for those French oil people, it's making me all stressed out.
You need a spa day, pronto. But really I'm here for you.
Thanks, you are the best D. Oh, and did I tell you about the leak?
The fridge?
No, in the master bedroom there's a leak.
Hold up. The bedroom?
Yeah, from the attic. It's in one corner of the ceiling, a big stain and it's spreading.
Water damage? I know it rained recently.
This is something else. It's slowly eating at the paint on the drywall.
WTF? Plumber?
John went home early to meet the plumber. Yeah, they searched the attic up and down and couldn't find where it was coming from. The plumber says it doesn't seem like chemicals, doesn't smell like that.
What does it smell like?
Like, I don't know, like bile.
Vomit?
No, more like stomach acid.
This is just too weird, Lucy. I want to come over tonight. Can I come over?
I'd rather come and see you just to get out.
Okay. We'll go to Ninfa's. First round of margaritas is on me.
Sounds really good. I gotta go now. Call y'all later.
Okay.
End of chat log. October 29th, 2004. Laptop arrived. There's a lot to sort through here, most notably some pictures Mark must have downloaded from his camera phone. But his laptop wasn't equipped with Photoshop or any other photo app, so I can't see more than thumbnails. I'll move them to my hard drive along with recent files and see what I can find. Also, it's crunch time at the office, so I'll be working this weekend, FYI. Maybe we all could use a little mental break from this. October 31st, 2004. Hooray for automated FTP uploading. If this sees publication, it means I'm still not back from my trip to the never-ending suburban grid in the valley. Consider it a precautionary update. When I return I will remove this link, since I can't stand sounding like some sort of martyr, nor do I like to cause a panic. In the meantime, in case it could wind up being important, I've been keeping a personal blog on a remote host. Don't worry about me, Connie. I'm sure I'll have quite a story to tell. Love. E.
Beginning transcription of the blog. It's called A Quiet Space. Tuesday, October 26th, 2004. Getting surreal. What the hell am I doing? I'm going crazy. Ever since I first got pulled into this whole ordeal, ever since Mark's first email to me, I've been spiraling. Now I'm struggling just to separate the facts from the fog, the real from the unreal. For weeks, I've been trying to keep his disappearance, and everything trailing after that, at arm's length, and I've failed. I'm an absolute mess. I don't know what to think. I can't help the Condries or Jen any more than I already am, yet I feel wholly inadequate to answer their questions. The truth is I simply don't know. I don't. I wish I did. The one person who can answer them has been missing since September 21st, and it's possible he lied to me about what he was doing. And to make matters worse, I can't even lean on Connie. She doesn't like the fact that I keep updating Mark's site, or that I'm talking to Jen in the middle of the night. But I don't think she understands. The questions she asks, they're always centered around Jen, and what I was talking about on the phone. I know that tone of hers. In the midst of this terrifying ordeal, she thinks I'm cheating on her. I can't dump my thoughts and feelings on the site I made for Mark. Too many people, including Jen and Connie, are paying attention now. And when I've called Cam, he's been more interested in the crazy theories than how I'm feeling. The email box I set up for questions by Mark's family is now flooded with messages from total strangers, some of them a little too eager to help. Or maybe I'm just paranoid now. I need a place to unload all these things weighing me down. And, as I have come to appreciate so well in the last month, a place to record events in my life. This is just for me. A little sanctuary, or maybe a confessional. Here's something I haven't told Connie yet, nor Jen for that matter. Yesterday morning when I took out the trash, I saw a man standing at the other end of the alley, over on the La Brea side. Just standing there, staring at me. He was wearing this sweatsuit like a jogger wears, it looked dirt-stained, and his hair was unkempt. I tried not to stare back. I think he may be homeless. This morning I saw him again, down by Olympic. Just standing and staring at me as I drove by. Christ, I'm going out of my mind, I just know it. Posted by Eric at 11:09 p.m. He's out there again. I can see him between the two apartment buildings across the street. Just standing there. I'm torn between the urge to confront him, or to call the police. Connie isn't talking to me much this week. Used to be, we'd get up together and chat over breakfast. Now she just sleeps through. She won't let me kiss her on the lips. I know she's just worried about me, and maybe concerned I've become obsessed. Maybe she's right. I'm late for work, and the car has been acting up on me. God damn it. The last thing I need now is a trip to the dealer in Burbank. Posted by Eric at 7:36 a.m. Strange text message. I got this on my cell phone today. The caller ID is listed as unknown and my text replies bounce back. The message reads, "Beware, flesh puppet. If this is a prank, it's not funny." Posted by Eric at 7:07 p.m. Wednesday, October 27th, 2004. A dose of normalcy. Good news, Jen. Not all things are crazy. I realized that today after shirking off this sense of suspicion and paranoia I've been carrying around. Maybe it will help you too. I'm just going to rattle off a few things here, call it a mental exercise, call it what you will. It's helped me calm down. The car drove smoothly today. No engine hiccups. It actually rained here last night, and the air has that crisp feel to it. I walked to lunch from the office and passed by all these people who were out, people with normal lives. I stood next to a guy at the crosswalk and listened to him chat to a friend on his cell phone about GTA, San Andreas. I brought home sushi takeout for Connie. She's finally able to eat regularly again, and I know she's been craving it. When she gets really excited or happy, it's like she can't talk, she just makes this high-pitched giggle squeal and claps the palms of her hands. I absolutely adore that about her. Sushi equals squeal-worthy. Smiley face. No sign of sweatsuit man. I think he's gone. So, yeah. There's plenty of good things going on. I can't let the bad thoughts creep in and ruin the rest. I hope you have some good ones, too. And I'll let you know when the FedEx guy shows up with the laptop. Posted by Eric at 10:16 p.m. Thursday, October 28th, 2004. Thoughts and theories. It's been a long day, I'm buried in more email, and I've had 2 glasses of wine. Time for a long rambling post full of tangents and disturbances, starring an ensemble cast of the horrific little thoughts that have been collecting in the back of my mind since September. Yay. So, the problem with this whole mess, with Andrew, and Mark and Danielle and who knows how many others, the problem is it's crazy. You'd have to be crazy to take this all in and convince yourself, yeah, it happened, and it will continue to happen. So let's get crazy, Jen. I'm already there. I'm to the point that I think the reason something this horrific continues to spread is the power of human denial. Skepticism and curiosity, a dangerous duo. The house knows this. It banks on it. It gets its next victim that way, and prevents the truth from becoming so widespread and accepted as to blow its cover. The old line about the greatest trick the devil ever pulled. All right. So there is a house, a set of houses. Identical. How? I don't know. The houses are inexorably tied. They share some sort of space, in some way. I picked up a science book the other day called The Holographic Universe, and Talbot, the author, talks about the phenomenon of this decaying photon particle, and how when it decays it suddenly seems to be in two places at once, but really it's just the way we're perceiving it, with the tools we're using, that gives it that illusion. There's this whole example: if you had a guy who didn't know what a camera or TV was, and hadn't seen a fish before, and you set him down in front of two monitors each focusing on different angles of the same fish, his knee-jerk conclusion would be that there are two separate creatures somehow behaving as a unified pair. What one does, the other does. I know I butchered that. But the book is in my car, so you'll just have to bear with me. So this house is like that photon particle. It's in different places, but also in the same place. See, this explains the strange sounds and voices people hear inside. The sound is bleeding through from other locations, other iterations of the same hallway. For example, maybe Linny heard Mark trying to reach me on the phone, even though he was in Boise and she lived, in Arizona. Then there's the way it regurgitates things, like keys. They don't show in the same place either. But then again, the entire second story isn't supposed to exist, so all bets are off. Right? I'd like to find the architect who drew up these plans, and lock that fucker in an upstairs room. Okay, so the house can do one of two things to you. 1. Digest you. 2. Sort of partially digest you, hollow you out, as Mark would say, and make you a subservient tool to obey the house. Why would it need us like that? Again, two options spring to mind. 1. Self-preservation. 2. Appetite. An example of self-preservation: the Madsens. They'd been in the house, lived there for some time. And they managed to escape. I'm guessing here, maybe they posed a risk, like Mr. Paranoia mentions. Was that risk due to them having stayed so long in the house without falling victim? Or was it a discovery? It had to be something big, for the house to keep tracking them for 4 years. If Drew kept taking jobs at Blockbuster video stores, maybe he had the Madsens account info and could tell where they were renting movies. Speaking of, Mark mentioned Drew had a lot of IDs for different states. Did he stay in another iteration of the house in each state? How many are there? The appetite theory is self-explanatory. The house uses people, who then use email, articles, etc., as lures to ensnare new victims. Flies. I know I'm leaning heavily on Mark's original theory now, but I agree with him. Maybe I secretly believed him all along. And if that's true, Christ, it's Andrew all over again. I let Mark slip away because I didn't want to face this mess, and now he haunts me the way Drew haunted him. As a memory. I'm so sorry, Jen. I'm sitting here trying to convince myself of the same ridiculous, insane, terrible thoughts Mark attempted to share 5 weeks ago. Why is the unexplained so taboo we can't accept it? We can't go to friends for help. Did you know the human eye only sees about 40% of what we think is really there? Our brains interpolate the rest and fill in the missing space. There's a visual exercise in this quantum book that demonstrates it. I don't know what that has to do with this, but it stuck in my head after reading about it. I want to see Mark again. I want this whole nightmare to be over, Jen. I feel so bad, I wake up aching in my chest at night. I leave lights on. I worry that I'm starting to go crazy, and the act of worrying pulls me further from sanity. But I still worry, about you, about Connie, and me. Are we in danger? Are we in a position to kill this fucking monster that took Mark? Is that also why we're in danger? Too many questions, and the wine is doing all the talking now. Off to bed. Posted by Eric at 10:20 p.m. Friday, October 29th, 2004. Return of Sweatsuit Man. Yes, he's back again. This time, he has a vehicle. I saw him parked along the curb, just across the street from my building. He was in this dirt-caked pickup truck with a crooked fender. Just staring at the main entrance like it was a bank he was about to rob. I guess that rules out homeless. Who the hell is that guy? I don't like it. And I'm really trying not to be paranoid. Really. Posted by Eric at 8:03 p.m. I should be working. But I keep going back to the printout I took with me to the office, the one from Mark's PC. This has to be the pic of the house. It looks exactly like Mark described. You know the funny part? It doesn't really look scary. It's just this generic, slightly neglected thing. I keep staring at it, as if I'll see Mark's face in a window, or a second story, or the front door will suddenly swing open. But none of that happens. It's just a low-res snapshot of a house. I've emailed it to you, Jen. I'll send along anything else I find tonight, but so far, nothing exciting. He was a great guy, you know. A great guy. Posted by Eric at 11:33 a.m. Saturday, October 30th, 2004. It's here. Jen. Where are you, and why haven't you answered your cell? I don't see how you would check here before checking voicemail, but just in case, call me. I got home from work at about 7 p.m., and saw Sweatsuit Man driving out of the alley, in his pickup. I don't know if I was just fed up, or suspicious, but this time I followed him. It was night and I felt that I could follow at a reasonable distance without drawing much attention. If he knew my car, it would have been harder to identify at night. Anyway. He drove north on Highland and entered the 101 westbound. We stayed on the freeway all the way to the 405, where he merged north, for the valley. There was some heavy traffic there, and for a few minutes I couldn't see the pickup, but I found him again as we passed Victory. He exited Sherman Way and headed east. Then I got stuck at a light at the Northridge Med Center and lost him again. I just kept driving and looking. I thought I saw a pickup take a right on a residential street and followed. I had no idea where I was, no way to write down the street names. I have MapQuest open in another window right now. I'm narrowing it down, trying to recognize familiar names. I had gotten lost after taking too many zigzags, chasing after tail lights. Some of the stop signs had no street labels. Just an unmarked intersection. But I know the general area. And I made my way back to the freeway. I can retrace my steps in the daylight. I found the house, Jen. And the pickup. It's the same house. The lights weren't on, but I could see it well enough under the street lamp. Same floor plan, same elevation. Not sure if the gate had a plank missing, it was too dark. But it's the one. I called Cameron as soon as I got to a place where I had a signal again. He's on his way over. Connie is at her mother's this weekend. I think we're going to go over tomorrow, middle of the day, and confront the man. I'll round up anyone else I can, too. Power in numbers. If, given the chance, we can enter the house, I'm undecided. I want to be able to put a stop to this madness, to expose or explain it, and that may require going inside and facing the madness. But this time, we won't be unprepared. Posted by Eric at 9:09 p.m. Sunday, October 31st, 2004. Early start. It's not yet noon, but I haven't been able to sleep since last night, and waiting seems pointless. The sun is up, let's go. Kim is on his way over now. I went to Home Depot early this morning and bought some supplies for the trip. I already had a few essentials here, mostly electronics. We're taking 2 high-powered flashlights, a Canon digital ELPH camera, a Sony mini camcorder, nose plugs, Swiss Army knives with built-in scissors, a laser pointer. Now and then I glance over at the gear, and chuckle. It's like we're going on some hiking trip. Except, Kim is bringing his handgun. That scares me more than anything right now. I don't want anyone to get shot today, even Sweatsuit Man, if he's home. If we need to involve police, the firearm will make things look worse. And lastly, it's not like he's going to unload a clip into the drywall. We may have 2 more coming with us, 2 friends of Kim's who are along for the ride. I don't know either of them, but I guess the more the merrier. An outside perspective will do me good. Connie won't be back from her mother's until about 4 p.m. I should be home long before then. The main objectives of this trip: 1. Confront Sweatsuit Man, find out who he is, and 2. Document the house, including address info. Update: Cam's friends can't make it. It's just the 2 of us. Well, that makes it easier to keep an eye on each other. He's on his way up. Jen, I'm guessing you had to recharge your cell overnight or something. Call me. Here we go. Posted by Eric at 10:19 a.m. End of blog transcription.
October 4th, 2005. This is Connie. It has been nearly 1 year since Eric drove off and never came back. I don't know how to do HTML. I don't know if this is how Eric did things. I'll be doing good just to copy this page back onto the website. What has happened in a year? A lot. Not enough. I don't have any answers, just a million questions. Let's see. I met Jennifer and Rachel, who is Cam's girlfriend. The three of us still keep in touch. Legally, Eric, and Mark and Cam, are considered missing. That makes some things very hard on us. What else? I have a mountain of files-emails, letters, digital photos that may or may not have anything to do with their disappearance. Every time I tried to start I got overwhelmed. So last week, I hired someone to go through all of it for me and see if anything made sense. The reason I'm finally learning this thing is that he has found one or two pieces to this puzzle, and I feel a responsibility to continue what my husband began. This is a test post. Later this week, after I hear back from Jenny, I will post more information. XOC. October 12, 2005. Well, for one reason or another, the new information has yet to be verified. So until I hear back from the source I can't post the link. Now I get how hard this is. You never know who is on the other end of a modem. Thanks for your patience. All three of you who are still reading. XOC. October 14, 2005. Despite the fact that she just used her diary to lash out at me, instead of answering me privately, I will link to a live journal by a woman who claims to know about what both Mark and Eric were investigating. Edit. Okay, I'm still figuring out the link thing. The blog of Laureen Mathers. Hoping that works. XOC.
Beginning blog of Laureen Mathers. You must hear the truth. August 16, 2005, 12:40 p.m. My name is Laureen Mathers and I don't know much about the internet and I don't care to. The reason I am in this so-called internet diner in old downtown, I ain't about to tell you which city, thank you kindly, is because there is no record of what I did in October of 2001. Not anymore. I killed a man. Killed him dead. Thing of it was, he was trying to kill me first. I don't take too kindly to that sort of behavior. At the time, I was in another state from the one with my last known address. A tourist. Never mind, I had all my shit in the back of my station wagon and a revolver in my glove box. To anyone else I was a visitor from out of town. So was the man I shot to death, he wasn't a local either. See, we both were from Boise. There was a trial, there were lawyers and all that shit, and I would have been happy to serve my time in a cell for what I'd done. One of the safest places for me to be, considerin' what I know. But the damn lawyer got me up on the chair next to the judge, and asked me why I did what I did, and I told him. I told all of them. I went on for 11 pages in the court transcripts, laying out everything I know about it. And my big mouth got me just 9 months in a mental facility. 9 months? Like my delusion was a pregnancy, and once I'd had it out of me I could go free, out among the world. Now I'm out. Been out for a few years. I still carry a gun on me too and I am not afraid to kill again if cornered. Maybe I've walked right past you but I guarantee you didn't pay a cent of attention to me, and that is the way I like it. I would've stayed that way, never to go into one of these coffee places with computers hooked up on the tables like we're the Jetsons, because anyone who wanted to know the truth just had to read the court transcripts. It was all there. But they're gone. Disappeared from Boise police. Man named Mark Condry came looking for them, then calling for me. That's how I know. Used to be you could type my name into the search engine things like Wahoo and my name would get you these news stories about the shooting in Salt Lake City. Now, there's nothing. Well, I aim to put a stop to that. I'm gonna tell you what happened, and also what happened to that fella Mark, and a slew of other names you may not recognize. The first thing I can tell you is this: they aren't houses. Stop thinking of them like houses. Soon as I can panhandle enough money for another hour on this bitch box I'll be back. LM. Newtown, same Laureen. September 20th, 2005, 11:33 p.m. All it took was one entry on this journal thingy and I had a man in a sweatsuit come trollin' around downtown for me. Took me a good week to make sure I had shaken him loose. Now I'm in a different place, New Jetsons Cafe, and I got a new shopping cart from the Target down the street. It's a good cart. Got smooth wheels. No pulling to the left or right, no squeaking. I just need to find a good place to sleep tonight. So, about Boise. I best get to that now before someone finally catches up to me, and now it's really just a matter of time before I'm dragged through the front door of a house that smells like fresh bread and warm blood. But as I said, they aren't houses. Here is what I know, and what I said to everyone in the courtroom. It started with the little things. This was a week after I moved in, summer before my first semester teaching. The sound traveled in odd ways, especially in the kitchen. No echo, even in empty rooms. Now and then I thought I felt the carpet wiggle under my feet. The outlet things, they felt, I don't know how to put it, I guess soft is the word. Like I was jamming the plug into a jar of jelly. Power fluttered a lot, but damned if I could find a fuse box. Thermostat didn't seem to care how I futzed with it, the air just came on when it wanted to, and most the time it was warm and smelled like cinnamon toast. All of this feels par for the course when you buy a home at auction. I got in on one of these deals where the bank offloads all the real estate they reclaimed from defaulted loans or some shit. You get what you pay for? Not this time. Not even close. I tried getting into the attic, see if there was anything like a fuse box there. I searched all up and down the house for the trap door to the crawl space. No sign of it anywhere. So I did what any self-respecting middle-aged woman would do. I went out and bought an axe. Soon as I jammed that axe into the hall ceiling, it all started to go to hell. Shit, internet cafe guy is shooing me off. Be back when I can. Continued from last entry. October 4th, 2005 8:21 p.m. Let's try this again. Last 2 times I got on here, I was halfway through typing a new entry when I got kicked out for smelling bad. But late last night I snuck into a condo, took a bath on their rooftop pool, and changed into fresh clothes I bought at the thrift store. Getting right back to it, the house bled. Not like red human blood, but something else. I got it in my eyes when I chucked that axe into the ceiling. Went to the kitchen and wiped my eyes with a towel, and when I went back to the hall, a trap door had suddenly opened from the ceiling and a set of steps or stairs extended to the floor. Like I had a whole second level or something. I couldn't see up past the threshold, not because of the angle but because it was so damn dark. At first I thought something black and large was just blocking the way up, but it wasn't an object. The smell was the most bizarre. A thick, heavy scent of sweets and baked goods that was trying desperately to drown out the stench of rotting meat. Made me queasy. And I wanted to go up there. No, that's not entirely true. I didn't want to go, but at the same time I had this urge to step up the stairs. Like that's what happened next. I needed to keep going, maybe just poke my head in and look around in all that dark. I started arguing with myself about it, and by the time I finally listened to the screaming in my head I was already 2 steps off the floor. I turned and ran fast as I could for the front door. The whole house was making these weird noises overhead, and the walls crackled like I was on an old clipper ship out at sea. The knob on the door wouldn't turn, and my hands were all sweaty by now. I tried kicking at the goddamn thing but it was no use. The door would not open. Behind me I heard this loud sound, like a chorus of fat men sucking on their teeth. It came from somewhere in the middle of the house. I wasn't going to try and get past the stairs to the sliding door in back. It was out the front or not at all. I grabbed a chair from the little dining area and bashed it against the picture window that looked out on the front yard. Let me tell you, I swung that thing like the bases were loaded. I am no wimp. I once took down a guy a full foot taller than me outside a bar, and that was when I was a little tipsy. But damned if that window didn't break. Here's what it did, it stretched. Like it was made of see-through skin. That chair bounced back and cracked me in the skull, hard, and I was left bleeding from my scalp. A real gusher. The carpet in the living room started swaying like it was grass in a breeze, and that smell started filling up the front half of the house, making me wonder why I didn't walk up the stairs in the first place, making me think the best bet now was to go up and see if there was a way out from the attic, and it took some miracle for me to find my way to the kitchen with a bloody face, hands scrambling for that towel again. What I found was a bread knife. Those serrated ones with the fork end. I made like I was going back to the living room, then dove at the window again, screaming like a banshee, and I fell right onto the porch outside. Was like the window just opened up ahead of me. That knife was Moses and the glass was the fucking Red Sea. That's how I remember it. Stone cold truth. What really did the trick was what I found when I went back 2 days later. Formulas. October 11th, 2005, 10:46 a.m. Vomit notes. If body fresh, eaten by house less than 12 HRS, equals strings attached. If body cooked, inside mouth more than 24 hours, equals no strings visible. If body stale, too long, time inside mouth, equals bones. Physical strings equals small range, just within house / can't go outside / very fast movement. No strings equals able to go outside and perform basic tasks / slower / used as lure or bait. Bones equals digested in fluid for too long or house gets hungry. Warning signs. Open sore on nape of neck / last string disconnects from here. Repeats phrases. Unusually strong or weak. Connection theory. Potentially all same house. T/S anomaly. Multidimensional. Beyond human understanding. For Connie. October 13th, 2005, 10:55 a.m. Well, I was gonna pick up where I left off last week, but I had to wade through 4 emails from some woman before I could get here. I don't have time to respond to all of them. This bitch box costs me money. Money I could be spending on booze or coffee. My lifeblood. Look. Connie. Or whoever you are. I don't give a shit if you believe me or not. It's not my mission to validate my existence for you and your little project. Yes, I did talk with Mark Condry. I'm getting to that. As for proof or whatever you're looking for from me, did you not read the bottom entry here? The proof is gone. I can't even prove I was a resident in Idaho anymore. Either you believe me, or you don't. Put up a link if you want to. Get the word out. Let people decide for themselves. No way in hell am I gonna meet you somewhere. I didn't survive this long by being stupid. If you want, I can describe Mark for you. I can do that much. I'll send that your way. As for my last entry, with the formulas, I just wanted to get that written down before I forgot. I'll talk about them more later. Some of it is speculation. Some of it I've seen with my own eyes. I'm not playing tic-tac-toe, so none of this XO shit. LM. I'm back. January 17th, 2006, 11:46 p.m. 3 months and 5 states later. I got news, kiddies, so sit down and hear me out. Okay, first off, about what I was saying earlier. Before that woman contacted me and I suddenly got popular, I mean. About my house. You know, that was my house. Maybe that's just how we Americans operate, but once I put a payment on anything, that sucker's mine. So after 2 days, I done came up with a few conclusions, the first of which was, I didn't really see what I thought I saw. It was a monoxide leak. Or I got sloshed and had some episode. 2 days in a motel was plenty for me to work up the old courage and go back. Somebody was living in the house. In my house. 2 somebodies, turned out. Twin brothers. My stuff was there, at least the furniture I could see through the windows, but they were living it up like nothing was wrong. The window I thought I busted through was replaced and everything looked almost normal, but damn if you just don't know what to do when you come home and find 2 strangers living in your house. I wasn't even bothered that they could be out to kill me or something. You know what worried me? That they were going through my stuff, putting their grubby paws all over my music CDs, my underwear, sleeping under my covers. Damn it. I would have stayed outside, just watching them move around like shadows behind the drapes, but then this nest of blackbirds made a racket flying out of that little elm tree in the front yard, and I see those twins at the window staring at me. Then the front door opened like someone was there inviting me inside. But no one was there. And something in the Laureen brain said no monoxide leak, no drunken nightmare, move your ass. So I listened, and I bailed. Left my CDs and my clothes and my fucking house behind. A few months later, one of them brothers found me in Utah, and I had to kill him dead. Now I got some of that out of the way, I need to tell you important information. Enough with the history. I'm your secret agent, out in the field, getting you the files you need to stay alive. Theory, somebody had to start building these things, right? I started snooping around. Here's what I found out. Get your pencils out. Near as I can tell, the original designer of the floor plans was a man named Jared Lewis. He tore down his own house in Topeka and built a new one on top of the foundation. Family left him at some point in the process. Okay, but there's more. Lewis was an old student or disciple of some nut named Jack Parsons. Man oh man, is there a ton of background on Parsons. Too much to go into here. But this Lewis guy went after this home building project like he was some land-based Noah. So I'm still collecting information on this Jared Lewis and his little group of followers. I should also have some goodies like an actual floor plan and maybe some photos of the house, assuming I get up the courage to visit the one in the city where I'm squatting now. Damn, gotta go talk more later.
End of story. Accredited to Eric Heiserer.